Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Let me share my screen. Okay, here it is. And today we're going to talk about some things mostly related to security API and a few other things that our customers ask and I find useful. One of our customers was asking how they can display a number on a welcome page, how they can display a number of records in the table on the welcome page, but with a little twist that then they needed to display a number of records that belong to the current user. So we have tables like customers, orders, employees. So let me show you what's in the database. So I have added a new field called owner ID. Let me show you this. And owner ID, and I have 3 users. I mean, I have more than 3 users. I have several users here in the users table. We are mostly interested in user with ID 1, admin, test, and user. It's users 1, 2, and 3, right? We've been using the table for a bunch of other tutorials, like the time zone one, right? Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So in tables like orders, I have assigned a few orders to each user just so we can see, like, if you log on using a different user, we will see a different record count. So just to show you an idea of how this can be done. Orders, same with employees, same with customers. Just one additional field, employees, right here. Also, owner ID is either 1 or 2 or 3, right here. Okay, this makes sense. And this is how it looks in generated application. Please note that it shows you on the table itself. I did not use advanced security mode, so it shows all the data, all 11 employees, and all the orders except for customers. In customers table, I did apply users can see and edit their own data only, but I will do it for some other purposes. Anyway, if we log out, that's admin user number 1, right? If we log out and do log on as test, user number 2, and you can see that numbers are different, 1, 4, and 2. And if we log out and log on as user number 3, we should see no records in customers table, which is correct. It's 0, 3, and 1. So you can see that numbers are different. So to implement this, this is a 3-step process. First of all, you go to the welcome page, and for every item where you want to use to display the count record, record count, use change item ID. You don't need to change it, but if you change it, it makes your code readable. So customers welcome. Here I change it to be orders welcome, and here is employees welcome. Again, this is not required, but makes your code readable. So there are 2 more things. If you go to event screen and check a welcome page before display event. Okay, let's take a look at this. What we're doing here, by the way, we didn't need to do this. I just copy pasted code, and that's not smart. You just need to use once. So our code is clean. So what we're doing here, we count the number of records in customers tables first, and we pass it to JavaScript, setting the proxy value of customers count variable to number of records in the customers table, where owner ID equals our ID from the login table. We're doing the same thing with employees. Another needs to be, just make sure it's a different proxy variable, and the same with orders. That's the easy part. We calculate and we pass it to JavaScript. And then in our JavaScript code, we access that element on the welcome page. We find a hyperlink which points to, that's our hyperlink, right? You see, if you mouse over, it points to orders list or to customers list, to employees list. And then we find the hyperlink and we change HTML of it, adding to the right side of it our proxy variable, and we enclose it so it looks good. And we're doing the same thing with employees table, same thing we're doing for orders. So let me try and explain what is happening in this JavaScript code. Let's right click on it and do inspect so we can see the underlying HTML of this. So remember, this is orders, right? And it should have item ID is orders welcome, as we specified in the page design. So I click inspect, and that's our HTML. You can see that's a hyperlink, right? And it points to orders table. But where's our item ID? Where is orders welcome? So it is located a little bit higher, and here it is. You can see it, right? You can see that data item ID is orders welcome. So data item ID is an attribute that we specified in our page designer. So that's our orders welcome. So what we're doing here, we need to find this div. Then we need to locate the hyperlink that is inside that div. There is only one hyperlink, so that's easy part. And then we need to modify the HTML code of this hyperlink, which is right here. So we do not modify the A tag itself, we modify what's inside it, and HTML function can both right here. See, it's a span and it says orders free right here. Let's take a look at our code here, and we proceed step by step. So this is what we're doing here right now, right? Okay, that's orders. Let's play with orders first, okay? This is our thing that this is what we do. We're trying to read the current content of that HTML first. So let's go to our browser and proceed step by step. So it makes sense. Okay, we will go to the console. Okay. And first of all, let's remove this, and it shows something. That's a div. We can see the div, we can see its ID, and if we expand it, we can see a little bit more info. I mean, we can see that it works. So now we take it one step further, and we find, we use the jQuery's find function to find the hyperlink inside it. Okay, it does work. It finds something. There is one hyperlink. Luckily, there is only one hyperlink inside this whole div, so it makes things a little bit easier. Next step, we access HTML of it. That's a bunch of code here, so some of it is required, some is not, but the point is we have our orders thing. So let's do something like this. We define the variable, and we do A equals something like this, and then we say A equals A plus something like this, 3. All right. Okay, it was already 3, so let's do. Okay, doesn't matter, right? So that's our new variable, and we will assign it back to that HTML thingy, right? So HTML function in jQuery will return the current HTML, and if we want to change it, we do it like this. In our A variable, we already have a new HTML. So you see what happens here, right? We have added one more records count to that thing. So it's just like so you have a little bit more understanding of how it works. Let's proceed to the next thing. So we have a dashboard here, and what it just displays a single record, and it has add and edit tabs available for customers table. So our goal is to make sure that no user can have more than one customer. So they can either have one customer or no customers at all. So to prevent users from adding more than one customer, and we're going to like make it slightly more complex. We're going to use a dashboard. So the idea is to hide add or edit tab depending on how many customers the current user already has, right? So user, you can see that they don't have any customers. This is why we see the add tab here. We can see it in our database. We're talking about customers. Customers table right here. And if you check on already, so we can see that user ID 1 has one customer, user ID 2 has one customer, and no customers for user number 3. So that's how we do it. And if we log out and log on as an admin or test, and we go to dashboard, we can see that they have added. They can edit their customer, but they're not able to add a new one. So that's the point. So it is fairly easy to implement on regular pages, but we just want to make it slightly more difficult, and we're doing it in dashboard. So normally you would just write some JavaScript code. You calculate a number of records that current user has, similar to what we did now. We pass it to a proxy variable, and then you can use JavaScript to hide either edit or add tab. But the problem is that with dashboards, using JavaScript events like this would be difficult, because dashboard elements are loaded asynchronously, and you don't really know when all dashboard elements finish loading. So there is no good JavaScript event for this kind of functionality. But luckily, we can use security API, and we can modify users' permissions on the fly to either giving them edit permissions only or add permissions only. And it's not that difficult to implement, turns out. So let me show you how we do it. So on the dashboard page, before process event, this is what we do. We also get a hold of the user data from the login table, and we retrieve current permissions of this user on customers table. Next step, we calculate number of records they have. You can either use a select count, or you can use do something similar as we did here. There is a count function in database API. You can use either one. Just does the same thing. So like whatever syntax do you prefer. So we calculate number of records here that belong to the current customer, current user. And if customer count is 0, that means we will enable add page and disable edit page. I will show you a little bit more info about this later, but it's sort of self-explanatory, because it's add, it's edit, right? And if the customer has a record already, then we remove the add permission and enable edit permission. That is all. And then we call security set permissions function, assigning correct permissions. And that's pretty straightforward, I would say.